What's going on, Chicago? It's your boy Rome J signing in, culture correspondent for the Tribe and the host of We Real Chicago. Welcome to episode 11. That's 11. Thank y'all for tuning in and rocking with us. We truly do appreciate it from the bottom of my itsy bitsy heart. The entire Tribe team took a break last week. Call it to regroup and rest. So I'm pumped and definitely ready to go. We got a great show lined up for you guys on tonight. Like the old folks used to say it in church, on tonight. We have new president, guys. And while most of us feel a bit lighter, we are still reeling from the coronavirus pandemic. We have seen the impact of this virus on every level, from a local, state, and national level. Mayor Lori E. Lightfoot dropped the city's budget for 2021 a few weeks back, and to no surprise, the city has a major budget deficit because of the loss of tourism dollars. Entertainment events like the Air and Water Show and the Taste of Chicago were major sources of income, and without them in 2020 and now possibly in 2021, the city is wondering how it will fund arts programming. So since I'm not the best at math here, I wanted to make sure we got an expert to talk about the budget and its impact on the arts. I'm honored. Here with me is Chicago Alderman Andre Vasquez, who reps the 40th Ward. Vasquez is a Chicago native and the son of immigrant parents. Now, before running for office, he performed as a battle rapper under the name Prime and toured with hip-hop group Atmosphere. He's also appeared on MTV and HBO. Last year, he defeated former 40th Ward 8-term Alderman Patrick O'Connor. Welcome, everyone. Please welcome to We Real Chicago, Alderman Vasquez. Thank you for being here with us tonight. What's going on, brother?
Hey, how's it going, Rome J? Thanks so much for having me on here. It's a pleasure.
Hey, brother, I appreciate you for coming on most definitely. I think you're my first public official, I believe. So, hey, it's an honor.
Got to start somewhere, right?
Yes, yes, sir. So, first of all, I mean, how are you, Alderman? Tell the people, first of all, just who you are and what you do for people who might not know what an alderman does.
Yeah, an alderman, the easiest way to explain it is we're like the manager of the ward. Like whenever somebody's got a complaint with something going on, whether it's potholes, it could be picking up trash, stuff like that. Like, you know, you would go to a manager and go, hey, I need that fixed, right? So the alderman is the person that does that for your ward. So I represent about 55,000 neighbors in my ward.
Okay.
And I'm located north as heck, like Andersonville, Edgewater, Lincoln Square is kind of the area where I'm at.
Okay, nice. Now, I would love to dive into your career as a battle rapper a little bit first, but
Sure.
We must get into this budget, okay, and its impact on funding for the arts. Can you explain a bit more about how the pandemic has impacted the city financially and how this will impact funding for the city's Department of Cultural Affairs and special events next year?
Yeah, absolutely. You said it right on. You hit it right on the head. That because of the pandemic, the amount of revenue that the city takes in just got drastically hit. Events, your regular restaurants, your local businesses, right? People can't pay rent. People are trying to figure out their mortgages. That put the city in a really bad spot where you're looking at a $1.5 billion hole that we have to figure out how to make up. So a part of it is making the cuts, and I wish I could say it was different, but right now what's being proposed is a 49% cut to the Department of Cultural Affairs and Special Events for the city. So the department in charge of arts is getting cut in half on this budget, and we have to make hard decisions, but there's a lot of problems, and we have to make sure we're talking like we are now about the details, because I think that matters.
Of course. And I mean, when we talk about special events, it kind of makes sense. I mean, during the pandemic, nobody wants to, going to the Taste isn't on the top priority during a pandemic, but cultural affairs are important to some people. The city's Department of Cultural Affairs and Special Events budget, as we just shown, is being cut from $40 million this year to $24 million in 2021. I mean, in your personal opinion, Alderman, is this reason to panic?
Yeah, if you're an artist, absolutely, right? I agree with you, right? The events, that's changed. But I think what we need to be doing is pivoting more to virtual. And the way I look at the city's departments, you have departments that can raise revenue and departments that cost us a lot. I think if you really looked at art and what a value it is, you could find a way to make the revenue. You could do online concerts. You could find ways to, like, I've been proposing merchandising, like the hat I got now with the city seal, right? We could get to a point where the city had its own store where people want to purchase that kind of stuff, like they could order it, and then we would effectively get more revenue. So I think there's opportunities, but it's going to be really challenging to accomplish things when you're cutting the budget in half. It's just, yeah, I'd be concerned if you're an artist in the city, absolutely, about that.
Most definitely. Now, and it hasn't been made official yet, but the 2021 budget does not include funding for the Taste of Chicago, like I just mentioned, and the Air and Water Show, which we have a visual for it right there. Has there been any discussion with council members about how to plug the holes in this budget?
Well, so here's what's being proposed. Like right now, the mayor presented a couple of weeks ago, the mayor presented the budget, right? So to cover the hole, they're looking at a $94 million tax increase, which would hit homeowners, right? And then renters. So that's a problem. Then you've got $500 million that they're trying to borrow. And so that's going to increase the debt, which makes it a larger problem. That is the tough part, right? What we've been proposing is the city actually has a rainy day fund. So there's like $900 million that it has for real emergency situations. And I don't think anyone would argue that this is anything but an emergency situation, right? They're going to borrow, or they're going to pull 30 million out of the 900 million. At minimum, I think you could cover the property tax part so everyone else doesn't get hit, right? Like when you're thinking about how if you can't pay your mortgage and now you got an extra tax, you pass it off to the renters. Renters are having a hard enough time because they've lost their jobs. Your restaurants and your local businesses then have to pay rent and they can't make their money because they can't even open up shop. So I think the reality is it's going to be difficult no matter what, but the budget is where you talk what your values are. And in a situation where people are just trying to survive, we've got to make sure we take care of that. So right now, that's kind of what the focus has been. And that's without even talking about the things we think need to be invested in when you already have a hole that big. It's a real challenge. And I think that's why my job and others is to communicate that to people so they all like really understand how challenging this is going to be.
Now, on the other side of things, Andre, I mean, you're an artist too, man. So like when you hear there's being cuts made to the cultural and arts program in the city, I mean, that must hit home for you too, right? You must kind of take that personal. Speak from your point of view, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. We had a hearing with the department in the budget, and I got amped up because, when I think about what art's meant to me, it's the reason I'm here. Like, I wouldn't have survived without art. Like, hip hop taught me not just how to express myself and how to be confident in front of a crowd, but also how to hustle, like how to be an entrepreneur, how to figure out ways to like survive. So if you don't have that, and if the city doesn't offer opportunities for Black and brown folks across town to be able to plug in and something like that, we all suffer, right? So, this background I have is an example. Like as soon as I took office, we worked on creating a public space. So we created this whole mural on Lincoln Avenue and Western. And I think that there's opportunities that we can use art for economic development. So what I'm doing is I'm really making that case and trying to work with the department to figure out ways to make it more sustainable, bring more revenue in, so that way it's continuing to grow and offering opportunities for people.
It's your boy Rome J. We Real Chicago. If you're just now joining me, I got Chicago Alderman Andre Vasquez with me of the 40th Ward. So happy to have you here with me, brother man. Real quick, I mean, once upon a time you were rapping in these streets as Prime. Okay. Yeah. Just tell me what got you interested in music in the first place, how you got your start, who were your early inspirations for hip hop?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I was a real awkward kid growing up. Like my parents kept me, you said I was raised in an immigrant family where they didn't even let me go outside for like up until high school. So in high school is where I started meeting the people who also felt like misfits and outcasts. And those were the hip hop heads back in the 90s. So I went from this kid that used to write poetry to being in my first cipher. And then, getting clowned, getting beat to the point that I knew I had to step my game up. Like, and I went from, I think everybody knows if you're in a cafeteria or lunchroom, somebody's going to start snapping on you, right? So you have to get your game on and be faster And me being able to do that, plus being able to rhyme, put me in a position where I felt moved. And so the artists that influenced me coming up was KRS, Rakim, Coogee Rap, Nas, Biggie, Ice Cube, right? Like the greats. But then when you look at Chicago, it was Common, Rhymefest, Twista, Kanye, right? Like Kanye to a lesser extent because I was a little older at that point. But a lot of the
old. Me asking, Alderman, how old are you?
I'm 41.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. So you graduated high school, what, 97, 98?
97. Yep.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. So for me, like, you know, because that was my era, I view that as the golden era, right? That's TRiiBE, that's Wu-Tang. Those are the albums that I think for me really define what hip hop means and kind of helped it evolve to where it is now. And then Chicago was just always dope because while the East Coast and West Coast weren't really good at like freestyling or battling, Chicago locked it down because we were very pure about that. So everybody in Chicago that spits, you already know they're dope. And for me, I had to make sure that I had to make sure I stood out, and I did because I was a Latino guy doing it, and I'd battle at Navy Pier at the Point every weekend. So I probably logged in like over 1,000 battles just to make sure I was on point.
Yeah, my favorite Chicago rappers I know for a fact know how to freestyle, and that's Herb, and that's Juice WRLD, RIP. Yep. I know for a fact they can spit off the top, no question. So you know, I'm proud of that. How has your career in music prepared you for a career in politics?
Yeah, so the thing the part that really, like I said, one, it allowed me to feel confident in front of the room, right? Like I think a lot of people, that's a struggle to kind of feel comfortable and put yourself out there. But I think hip hop allowed me to do that. The part that's crazy for me was during the campaign, when people were attacking me, like with mailers and the political attacks, I wouldn't get heated because I've spent decades of people yelling at me in my face through battling. So even in a debate, I could be more chill. Like I wouldn't get, you know, it wouldn't set me off. And I think that allowed me to really be able to speak. But more than anything, growing up in the environments that we all have and being able to be a member of government and representing people from the same environments, it gives me a perspective that a lot of my colleagues don't have and allows me the opportunity to share that and make sure that I'm advocating for marginalized groups across the city.
And I mean, and you pretty much touched on my next question, which is like, hey man, you be the 8-term alderman in the ward you grew up in. 8 terms, that's like a dictatorship. That's not even like a position at that point. But, and you kind of touched on this question. Basically, I was going to ask you, what inspired you to run for public office in the first place?
Totally. So here's what's wild. I didn't grow up in the ward because like a lot of city kids, I got gentrified out of like 5 neighborhoods, right? And growing up in the city, I never even knew what an alderman did. Right. What happened to me is in 2015, I was out sharing a lot of Bernie Sanders stuff. Like I used to share mixtapes and links, and somebody that I knew from when I was a rapper invited me to go meet him. And so I got a chance to meet Bernie. And once I met him and got the picture with him, in my head, I was like, I got to get this dude elected so I could tell my kids I was with the president, right?
Facts.
At the same time, like me and my wife had kids. So little by little, I was like, I'm going to go campaign to help Bernie get elected. And in my head, the gears started turning because I worked, you know, at 40 years old, I've worked in different environments. I've been in corporate environments, knew how to present myself. And so I met a couple of aldermen and I was like, I could do that. So that led to me just organizing people and putting it together, a hip hop event with reggae artists. And we called it Burn Fest and did a fundraiser.
Right.
And next thing I know, the same skills that I used as a rapper, as an entrepreneur, like transferred over to being able to campaign. And then I was just able to make the case. And what was wild is O'Connor, who's a guy that we beat, he'd been in office 36 years. Jeez. And he spent $1.5 million against our 200,000. So they spent over like 10 times the amount that we had. Wow. And ultimately I was able to beat him by 1,100 votes, which is a pretty large margin. So I think people just wanted change, and for whatever reason, like they understood that that's what I'm here for, and I could connect with them and be able to hear what the issues are so I can solve problems. And it's been really like the job of a lifetime and a real privilege to be able to serve this way.
Now, it's been over a year since you joined the city council, and now we're in the midst of a pandemic. not how you pictured it, I'm sure. Please tell us about what you learned. Yeah, please tell us just what you've learned in the first year and what you're planning going forward.
Yeah, I think that's what's crazy, right? Like, if somebody would have told me I would have had a pandemic rookie card, I don't know that I would have believed it. You spend your first year just trying to learn the job, and then in the middle of it, you get hit with something that the world's never seen before, and now you have to step up and make sure you're taking care of your neighbors, right? It's you learn a lot. You learn that people that you may not agree with ideologically, they need help. They're hurting, and if you do the job and take care of them as part of your role, people respect you even if they don't agree with you. And what I mean by that is, like, I'm someone who talks about divesting from the police. I'm the one who's clear about police accountability. And there's neighbors who don't agree with me, but they'll go, you know what? I know that you're able to talk about it. You're able to help me out. So it becomes a conversation where you can move people. The same thing applies in a city council. You got 50 people elected to represent their different neighborhoods, and they see problems in a way different manner. So the ability to be able to talk to people, to listen to them, to have conversations about issues that are passionate to everyone, but still be able to try to come to agreement. I think that has served me well to be able to do it. But having said that, we're in a time unlike any other. And I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. It's going to be an economic depression. We're going to have a cold COVID winter. Businesses are going to close. It's going to be rough, even with the new federal administration. So I guess here's what's challenging, and I don't know if you might agree. If you grew up in a situation where life wasn't easy in the first place, you kind of get a little numb to how real things are now, even as they are real.
As Black and brown people, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, Sergio, but as Black and brown people, we are used to living with our backs against the wall already. It's like when the recession hit in 2008. I remember my dad saying, we used to being broke. So it really matters.
Right. So that's the problem, right? Is like, at the same time, we're the ones that need to be the most vocal to get things to move in a direction. So right. The thing that I always have to struggle with is how do we make sure people have that platform and they know that we need them out talking and making sure that their neighbors know what's going on.
Yeah, and once again, on the federal level, we do have a president where we don't know what the transition process is going to be like during the month of December, going into January, and we're right in the midst of a pandemic. So interesting to see what direction the country, let alone the city of Chicago, goes in. Before I let you go, Alderman Vasquez, I hate to put you on the spot.
I know you're going to do it.
I hate to put you on the spot, but if you could drop a bar or two for your boy before we let you go, that'd be hot. Whatever. Look,
what I could do is I'll share a link where y'all can see it. But right now, in the middle of the budget with somebody who, look, I'm going to be real. This is going to be a tough budget, and people are going to try to take whatever shots they can at us. I'm not going to give them an opportunity, especially when we're trying to fight for Black and brown folks out here. But I'll share some I got to just be fair.
Facts. Where can people find some of your stuff, and where can they keep in touch with you, man?
Yeah, if you can find me on any platform at Andre for 40th. That's ANDREFOR right there. 40TH. People could DM me. Like, I try to be as accessible as possible because that's what I'd want to see in an elected official. And I want to make sure that I'm hearing the people that are going through it right now.
We Real Chicago. We want to thank Alderman Andre Vasquez for stopping by. I appreciate you truly, brother. Thank you.
Thank you, man. I love to see y'all and can't wait to see y'all do bigger and better because this is a really amazing platform y'all have.
Thank you so much, brother. Not our first time, not our last time talking, but definitely our first. Alderman Andre Vasquez, everyone. So it's film festival season. The Black Harvest Film is celebrating its 26th year. The festival kicked off last week and is a vibrant celebration of independent films that tell the stories and explore the images, heritage, and history of the worldwide Black experience. We're going to talk more about the Black Harvest Film Festival a little later, but first I want to bring a special guest on to do the Rome J Report with me, Bella BAAHS. Bella is a revolutionary millennial artist and visionary who is one of the subjects in the documentary Unapologetic, one of the films featured in the Black Harvest Film Festival. Right now, we'll go ahead and welcome her to the show. Welcome to Real Chicago, Bella.
What's up? Thanks for having me.
What's going on, my guy, my G, my girl, when I say my G?
My pronouns are that nigga. It's all good.
Right. You know what I'm saying? We got to make sure we get the right pronouns, though. I'm in autopilot still. So first, tell the people who you are and what you do. Bella, please.
Yeah, so my name is Bella BAAHS. BAAHS is BAAHS. That's Black Ancestors Here Healing Society, not bars, not prisons. I'm a prison abolitionist. I'm a raptivist. I bridge what's popular music with what's political and make a lot of stuff that don't make sense to a lot of people.
Bella BAAHS, everybody, and we'll go ahead and jump right into the Rome J Report. Bella, as you know, the Rome J Report highlights current arts and entertainment news, so let's get right into it. How invested were you in the election results, Bella, if I may ask?
And the results, like I won one of those people who was like sitting up watching the news for days straight waiting to hear, you know what I'm saying? Like I felt like we did what we were supposed to do and I was just waiting to see, how the country responded. But I was surprised, honestly. I thought I thought old boy was gonna pull off a second one. But I was pleasantly surprised. I mean, we did what we were supposed to do in these last 4 years to get them up out of there. So I was proud.
I was one of the people waiting by the TV for multiple days, and and I wasn't quite sure.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure, like how you felt. I just didn't know. I didn't know because he did get 72 million people to come out for him, right? Well, we know the outcome after waiting just about 4 days. Joe Biden will be the 46th president of the United States. The people have spoken. In an election where voter turnout was historic for both parties, President-elect Joe Biden won with over 74 million Americans casting their vote. I believe that number now is like at 77 million for the Democratic nominee. Over 161 million Americans voted in the 2020 election, the largest number of voters in a U.S. presidential election in history. Kamala Harris will be the first woman and Black Asian vice president in U.S. history as well. And look, I know we all can agree this election matched the energy 2020 has been giving us all year long. It was a long, stressful, and nobody really knows if Trump will leave the White House peacefully. What do you think about that, Bella?
I feel like Trump is the biggest gangster we've seen in our lifetime. Truly, I gotta give him that much. We just gonna have to see. We just gonna have to see what he do. It's really no predicting how this man coming and what's coming behind him. Like that's what I think about. Like I think about the 70-some million people who coming behind him too. My grandma used to say, "You only as powerful as what's behind you," and we know they really not playing. So. Like we're not playing either though. Revolutionaries, I think we up right now, and not that we have a revolutionary candidate elected to be in office, but he can only, we only flipped the nation the way that we did right now because of revolutionary energy that's propelled us to do something different.
Facts. Yeah, no, you made a good point. He do got 72, 73 followers. It's speaking to the Republican politicians right now. They're afraid to speak out against him because of his massive following. It's something to really pay attention to going into 2024, whenever the next election will be. Trump can run again. So to the family of King Von, we here at the TRiiBE would like to send our condolences. Davon Bennett, known as King Von, was shot and killed reportedly after a confrontation in an Atlanta club last Friday. 22-year-old Timothy Leaks is believed to be the shooter. Leaks is in custody and facing a felony murder charge for the shooting. Von was first signed to Lil Durk's OTF label Imprint in 2018. The two have collabed on many songs, and their friendship goes back to them growing up in the Chicago O Block area together. Von was only 26 years old. Bella, you're an artist. You're from the city. It seems like the coronavirus isn't the only pandemic we're facing. It seems like Black men, Black artists, Black rappers, especially even from Chicago, are a species that's in trouble. How do you feel?
It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking, really. Like, because it's once you see Von it's like it take for it to steady be these rappers, these very popular artists, for the whole world to feel like what we feeling on a day-to-day basis. Like we done all lost somebody like that, like to some senseless stuff. It could have just been a fight, you know what I'm saying? Like ain't nobody had to lose their life in that. Like all them people lost their lives for nothing. Somebody finna lose their life, go to prison for the rest of that for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like and we see it so often, and it's you won't never get desensitized to it. You know, it's never normal. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just messed up. And I know the city hurting, right? And I know we been hurting. Like this ain't the first one. I ain't gonna say it ain't the last one because I don't even want to speak that. You know what I'm saying? I hope it is, you know, like I hope it is truly. But yeah, I just want us to know our worth. Like it ain't, we deserve to live. All right, we deserve to grow, we deserve to evolve, right? Like we not even being able to see people reach their peak. We not even being able to see people transform. And like, you know, all the work that I do is about transformative justice. Like how do we transform ourselves? Like I would love to see Von really grow into his manhood, into his artistry, and really you know what I'm saying, like inspire people. He could have inspired so many more people to do. You don't know what that man would have did with the rest of his life. You know what I'm saying? Like, and people like to judge people by what they did, but we got to give people time to live and to grow and to become. You know, it's just sad. It's just tragic. We're not even getting a chance to become our best selves, even when we try to be.
Yeah, only 26 years old. We here at the TRiiBE send our condolences to the family. Well, we've all been ordering in a lot more than usual, right? Okay, and I'm sure y'all have noticed, I mean, DoorDash, Grubhub, them is high as hell. I mean, honestly, a $12 meal comes out to $30 after they add the fees for everything, right? Now, with that being said, not only customers, but the restaurant owners themselves are angry about the ridiculous fees, which they say hurts business. These third-party delivery companies are allowed to charge up to 20% in fees alone in some states like New York. Now, an ordinance introduced by City Council in May is soon to be revisited that would hopefully keep the fees of these delivery companies to only 5%. Bella, have you experienced ordering some food and it go from $10 to $25 real quick just because it's on some third-party delivery site? Do you even use them?
You know what? I really don't use none of the delivery food services sites like that. Really, I used it one time recently, and that was because Unapologetic had paid me for something with Groupon for Grubhub or something. So I really wasn't even tripping on the price. I'm like, I already had a little coupon, so oh no. But I think that they need to pass that ordinance and make sure that they cap it at a reasonable percentage, because you can't just keep taxing poor people to make up for all the mistakes the city making with their budget decisions. Like you can't just keep doing it. That's bogus.
Facts. And meantime, I mean, the mayor's office is encouraging people to just order delivery from the restaurant itself instead of using these third-party delivery sites until
that ain't got delivery though. That's gonna have to start hiring delivery drivers.
Facts. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be a cold, lonely winter with COVID spiking back up. So we'll see. Chicago designer Joe Fresh Goods had fans excited when he snapped a pic of a Converse box last week. On the box, he had wrote the words "not a bootleg" this time with his initials JFG, as pictured right there. This, of course, hints at the pairs of Chuck Taylors Joe has customized in the past, one last year and a pair in 2017. But now Converse has officially decided to collab with the unique designer. And, Joe has been hinting at this for a while. Weeks ago, he posted a picture of a chain with the Converse logo and his initials, JFG, once again, right above it, saying, "Converse, it's your turn. I'll see you in December." Also hashtagging "no more bootlegs." Look, we're excited to see what Joe and Converse can cook up coming this winter, whether or not they adopt one of those bootleg designs, which was pretty decent, or if they come up with an all-new, fresh look. Hey, look, Bella, I like Chucks. not in the wintertime. They make my feet cold. Would you rock a pair of Chucks in the wintertime, even if it's by Fresh Goods?
I mean, it's always summer somewhere. You feel me? People buy you buy them and put them in your suitcase. You feel me? You ain't got to stay around here.
Facts. Hey, look, I'm already knowing. So let's see. Let's move on. Let's learn more about the Black Harvest Film Festival. Bella, stay tuned. We'll bring you back in a minute, so don't go anywhere. Thank you for staying with me. Our next guest, Sergio Mims, knows all about the Black Harvest Film Festival. Okay, Sergio is the co-founder and co-programmer of the Black Harvest Film Festival, film critic, journalist, host, producer, and screenwriter. Woo! Now, Sergio, for those who don't know, can you tell us why you founded the Black Harvest Film Festival? What's your mission there?
Well, the venture is very simple. Is that okay? Let me put it this way: the overwhelming majority of Black films which are made every year are independently made outside the studio system. You know, I always get kind of ticked off when I hear there are more Black films being released this year than ever before. And what they really mean are films that are produced or released by Hollywood studios. That's only a tiny fraction of the movies that get made by Black filmmakers. They're not, and I should say, they're not all Black, but films that deal with Black subject matters. So, and they need an opportunity to be seen. That's the basic idea. You make a movie for an audience. You want the audience to see it. So the festival was created 6 years ago. Time flies. For an opportunity for these films to be seen from all over the world. There are other Black film festivals. There is Pan-African Film Festival. But we are, without question, one of the longest running, really one of the longest running film festivals in the world, let alone Black film festivals. And also one of the most important film festivals in the world, not just the Midwest. I mean, literally in the world.
Virtual is the new wave, you know, for folks who to safely attend events. How challenging was it to organize an event this scale virtually?
Even though this is not the perfect way to see movies, call me old-fashioned. This is the only way and the safe way to do it this year.
Correct. What's been the response, I mean, from the public in the first week of the festival so far?
Yeah. For us, it's been great. Actually, event sales were really much better than we ever anticipated because this is a whole brand new world. We didn't know. But they much better than we anticipated. And we just hope that it will continue on until the end of the month. I do want to point out our closing night movie. We always try to do something special for closing night. And we're going to show an early film starring Chadwick Boseman. Now, we're doing this as a tribute to him, but this is a film called The Kill Hole that actually we first showed in 2012. This is long before he was Jackie Robinson or James Brown or Thurgood Marshall or who's that other character he played? Yeah, Black Panther. And but when he was an up-and-coming actor. And this is a really solid drama.
Sergio, what's the name of this drama again?
It's called The Kill Hole.
The Kill Hole.
Right. And he plays an ex-Iraqi war veteran who goes through some pretty dramatic changes and times. And like I said, we showed this film 8 years ago originally. So we always try to do something special for closing night. And this was absolutely perfect to rescreen again one of his very first film performances. And I should say, really, maybe his first lead role in a movie. And I'll say something else about Black Harvest. We still try to be on top of the game. You know, we still try to look for upcoming talent, promising movies. That's one thing the festival always tries to do, always tries to be ahead of a curve.
Most definitely. And I can agree with you more with honoring Chadwick Boseman. Tragic losing him this year, but he definitely deserves recognition for everything he's accomplished. And that's a film I haven't seen yet, so I'm excited.
Well, very few people have. People even know very little about it. You know.
Yeah, so I'm excited. I'm excited to check that out, Sergio. If you don't mind, are there any other films that you would recommend for Black Chicagoans to see?
one local feature was showing by Dr. Artel Great, a film called Love Like Winter, which is a very unusual love story, which was made locally here in Chicago. It's a feature film, and about two ex-lovers who reconnect, and things perhaps don't go the way you think they're supposed to go. And we also have a whole selection of locally made shorts, and that's something we always do every year. We always make sure that we show films that also represent local filmmakers.
Speaking of local film majors, Sergio, and I hate to cut you off, but speaking of Chicago films and local film makers, Unapologetic, documentary that centers young Black women and film organizers in Chicago following the death of Rakia Boyd, is showing at the festival this year.
Right.
Now we have the Unapologetic crew here with us tonight to talk about the documentary. Let's go ahead and welcome them in right now. We got the TRiiBE's co-founder and creative director, Morgan Elise Johnson, who produced the documentary. And we're going to go ahead and bring back Bella, who's like a premier catalyst in this film. She's featured in this film doing her thing. Hey, ladies, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. I'm going to take off my glasses, it looks like.
Go ahead.
Yeah, let me get...
Bella, thank you for joining us again. And congratulations to the entire Unapologetic crew on the official Chicago premiere, right? How exciting has it been for y'all to finally have this film home in Chicago for the folks to see, Mo?
For me, it's just, the culmination of so much hard work. I mean, years and years and years of work, over 4 years of producing, filming, editing, wrangling Bella, trying to get her to, answer the phone, come outside and do some filming with us. So, I mean, she gave so much of her life, and it's kind of like a coming of age story for her. And it really, it puts everything in perspective, because we have this experience of growing up in our early 20s, but not everyone grows up during a time of like this type of turmoil and decides to, organize during that period. So this film really kind of pulls back the curtain, lets people see, what a movement for Black Lives organizer looks like. And, it looks like Bella, like super fly, I was about to say, like, since the film launched, it looks like, you didn't up your style game. So I'm like,
most definitely. Hey, Bella, how was it for you? Why is it important for Chicago to see this to you, Bella?
Because it's really a win for us. Like, everybody talk about Chicago, how they want to talk about Chicago. And when you talk about young people in Chicago, you want to talk about how brilliant we are. You want to talk about how brave we are. You want to talk about how committed to our people we are. Like, that's not the mainstream conversation. So to see us struggling through school, through life, through a city that we know is against us, right? And to see us fight and demand our place and to know our place, right? So we only fighting because we really already know who we are, right? So to see that and to see that in young Black women in this city, like, that's not a conversation that you have for real. Like, it's necessary. And it's Black women all the way through. Like, it's in front of the camera, behind the camera. Like, don't play with us. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really that type of energy. Like, don't play with us. You gotta see this. You gotta see your city from this point of view. Like, you gotta see how many people love you that you don't even know love you.
And I just like to add, it's because of women like you, Bella, and Morgan like you, the reason why we won this election. I mean, Black women organizers all over the country, whether it be in Atlanta or whether it be in Philadelphia, organizing and getting this thing done is truly the reason why I think we won this election. Morgan, the trailer for this film just dropped this week. What was the process like in creating this trailer?
Well, we had a bunch of Chicagoans come together. That's what I love about this film. It really has, the Chicago stamp of approval. So not only is Bella BAAHS one of the, I don't want to say stars of the film, but a star of the film, but we also had Sam Trump come in and do the score of the film and the trailer. All the scenes are shot here and was made with Chicago crews, Ashley O'Shea, Chicago-based director. So it was really her and an editor, another Chicago-based editor, who was able to put together this trailer, which just premiered, by the way, in Variety magazine. So
Big deal.
That's a big deal for us. It's a big deal once you get a trailer in a entertainment trade. So
Facts. And I forgot Sam Trump's on that official score for the movie. Shout out to Sam. He's a recent guest on the show. Dope trumpet player, singer, artist, whatever you want to call him. Shout out to Sam Trump. He's dope. But let's get into this trailer, the official trailer for Unapologetic. Ladies, do you want to say anything before I roll it?
I just want to piggyback off what you were saying about this election, right? Like, this moment is not possible without the 4.5 years you see documented in Unapologetic. Like, where we at right now as a nation is not possible without this film, without what we did, right? It does not happen. So you have to see that to really even understand this moment where we have a whole nation, America, the whole United States of America, telling people they want us to defund the police. Like, you don't get there. All right, so it's really important for people to see like how much work went into this moment. Like, I know a lot of people patting themselves on the back because you just want to cast a ballot. Like, yeah, baby, that was cool and all. You know what I'm saying? But people have been organizing for this moment since before he even got in office. Okay?
Right.
Yeah, and I just want to say thank you to everyone who has supported us. Cartemquin Films here in Chicago, our co-producers. I want to thank Black Harvest. I mean, this has really been a full circle moment for us to be able to have a platform to show this film to our Chicago family. So Amber Love, yes, Amber Love edited the trailer. Thank you. Unapologetic doc team coming in. Yes, say her name. So thank you.
The official trailer for Unapologetic. Let's roll it.
This is the part of Chicago that doesn't get talked about. Yes. Yeah, my mom was in federal penitentiary when she took that picture. Styling on them. I have a whole family here who I know needs protecting in a way that they've never been protected.
I'm a doctoral student organizing towards Black freedom.
I really want my research grounded in how we can envision what safety looks like outside of law enforcement.
There's been a major development in the police shooting of 22-year-old African-American woman, Rakia Boyd.
I'm committed to confronting this board, city council, and the mayor until y'all fire Dante Service.
Black women do a lot of thankless and undervalued work.
We taking back our community. We taking back our community.
Our entire existence is resistance.
It's just like an exacerbated level of commitment.
It's very new, this idea of this being work. This has always been life.
This is Black history that we are making. Even if we don't, our stories gonna make it.
When you guys see that trailer, how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel like, man, just grateful that somebody saw so much in me, that they wanted to, you know what I'm saying? Like, Ashley was starting her career. Like, she really just got out of school. We the same age. She's super young. Like, she decided to dedicate years of her life and the foundation of her artistry, like, on telling my story. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just makes me feel like humble and proud, and I just be thinking of how proud my grandma must be, like, she in heaven kicking with all the angels, like, yeah, but what your grandbaby doing? Because mine going crazy right now, So it's incredible to see. That's my auntie, my mama. We at the Black Soul Nation picnic in the trailer, like, quit playing with us. It's just incredible to see Chicago represented in that way.
Morgan, do you have anything after viewing the trailer again? Maybe for the 100th time for you, but first time for me, I know, and for our viewers, I'm sure. How do you feel?
I mean, it's special. As a young creative, this is the first film that I've produced kind of solo. I mean, now the film has a lot of names attached to it, but out the gate, it was just Ashley alone with her camera. And then I joined the squad, and it was really just us making away with no funding, then a little bit of funding. So I mean, I'm so glad that now that it's making its rounds and people are talking about it and writing about it. But yeah, this is it's a big accomplishment for me as a filmmaker, and I hope, the goal for a filmmaker always is to be able to make your next film, and I think this is a really good start. People can say they know what I'm about based on this film.
Let me say that, as I said, we get a lot of submissions every year. And, some good, we get mediocre films submitted. We get bad films submitted. Let's be honest, like any film festival. We get a lot of good films. And then there's some films that come along that say, we have to have this. If we don't have this picture, the festival is no good this year. And one of those movies was Unapologetic. We had to have this movie.
Bella, I mean, you're one of the subjects centered in this doc. Why did you choose to be a part of this documentary? And I mean, what do you, and then we've already touched on this, but at the end of the day, what do you truly hope folks take away from Unapologetic?
I just hope people walk away tuned in to a higher frequency, so we can get more done, right? I don't think you can watch this without elevating yourself in some form, like without some moment of ascension happening within you, like you call to do better, you call to see your people from a different light, you call to you know what I'm saying, you might want to call your mama, call your sister, call some woman you love, and just let a Black woman know you love her, you appreciate her, you see her. And I think that's what's gonna all really change this nation forevermore. You know what I'm saying? Not on some, we got Joe Biden elected, we did what we had to do. Like, no, for real. Like, for real, like pushing us to really reimagine who the leaders of our country are, who they've always been, and what is possible when we invest in their leadership.
Amen. You preach that. I mean, Morgan, what about you? What do you hope folks take away from Unapologetic?
I want people to know that this is a movement that specifically centered Black women. It's not something that has one Black man at the helm, like we often envision a leader to look like. And so when you're talking about the movement for Black lives, I don't want people to picture people like Shaun King or something like that. Like, that's not what this is. This is Black women, on the grassroots level, not people behind a computer from wherever they are. This is people getting people civically engaged in community meetings and police board hearings and government surveys and voting. I mean, let's not forget that, because millennials really came out as the highest voting bloc here in Chicago. So they said that we could not do it and that we only cared about protests. But I think something very remarkable is brewing, where we're really taking charge of shaping the world that we want to see. So, I mean, I'm very proud of everybody, kind of just like doing what they can from where they're at. Like, I'm a filmmaker, I shape narrative. So I'm doing that with the mission of Black liberation, so we can all think about like what our skills are and how we apply those skills. And I think, Unapologetic will inspire hopefully future generations, my great granddaughters to step up and do this work.
I have Morgan Elise Johnson, producer of Unapologetic and co-founder of the Tribe, with me, Bella BAAHS, one of the many stars of Unapologetic. Morgan, Bella, where can folks find you guys? Stay in tune with everything you guys have going on. Please let the people know.
Bella, you first.
Okay, for sure. You can follow me at Bella BAAHS. BAAHS is again BAAHS. That's Black Ancestors Here Healing Society. You can check out my website, BAAHSNotBars.com. I got some stuff dropping tomorrow. I got some stuff dropping next week. So I'm featured on a beat tape by an incredible upcoming producer, TJ Lavish, who is also my cousin, one of my favorite people in the world. So I got 2 songs on the tape that's about to drop real soon. I'm also tomorrow I got a cipher coming out with some Chicagoans. I think y'all might like. Keep up with unapologeticfilm.com/events to check out all the film festivals.
Morgan, how can people find you?
Well, y'all know I'm Morgan Elise J on all platforms and also co-founder of The Tribe. So y'all can hit us up at info@thetribe.com if you have any pitches, any stories that you want us to focus on.
So guys, please stay on the lookout for Unapologetic. Sergio, can you walk us through, before we leave for the night, can you walk us through how folks can purchase tickets and the different types of passes that are available for the
real simple. It's real simple. You just go to SiskelFilmCenter.org, SISKEL, SiskelFilmCenter.org, and go on the website and go to where Black Harvest is there. You'll see it immediately, and then when you open that link, you'll see all the films. We got over 50 movies, which is usually the number of movies we show every year, and features and documentaries and short films and panels. I also mentioned the panels that we have, and sorry about that. And you take it from there, and you order your film. It is all it's all self-explanatory, and this will continue until the end of the month, until November 30th.
Nice, wonderful. We'll go ahead and wrap it up. What a good show. I feel really good about that, guys. We had a great show. I want to thank my special guest, Alderman Vasquez, for joining me. I want to thank Sergio Mims with the Black Harvest Film Festival for coming through, letting us know everything that's going on. Of course, the Unapologetic crew. We're missing Ashley, but shout out to Morgan. Shout out Bella BAAHS. Bella, we're going to be looking for that music tomorrow so we can feature it on next week's show. And the Black Harvest Film Festival ends on November 30th. So make sure you guys check out those websites that Sergio told you about. Go ahead, sign up so you guys can stay in tune. Thank you guys for joining us. That is our show. Make sure to check out the scene to see what's popping this week in Chicago. If you have any questions about the show or want to reach out to us, hit us up at connect@thetribe.com. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to our YouTube page, and make sure you hit the notifications so you never miss an episode of your boy. Speaking of your boy, Rome J, you can find me on Twitter at the Rome J_ and on Instagram at Rome J_TV. And if all hearts are cleared, we'll catch y'all next Thursday. Stay real. Stay safe, Chicago.